effective one. So with that, I think we're good.
I think we're good, Luke. I think we're good.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Robin, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, actually, this is Marka Ormsby, and my sister and business partner, Robin Daniel. We are Tech Matters, and we're an educational technology consulting firm in Atlanta, Georgia. So just to show, we're involved all over the United States. We're in Atlanta, you're in St. Louis, but it doesn't make any difference now as a result of the internet. We have been helping Dr. Collum, this is our second year, in the multi-university study, and we're very excited about it. It's been a very interesting ride. We are this year going to be including some additional material for you, which will hopefully help you through the MUSP experience. But you probably covered this already, that you're an extremely important part of an educational research program. And as far as we know, this is the largest study to date using simSchool, so this is very important. The essential question, obviously, then, if you're going to be using a simulation program, is that can a program like simSchool provide an effective classroom experience, provide you, the pre-service teachers, the experience in working with diverse students and students with special needs? And we think that is true. Tonight, we're going to take a tour of the simSchool MUSP manual, and that's something that Robin and I put together over the summer based on the experience of the last 3 semesters. We'll also talk about registering in simSchool, how to add Dr. Collum's course to your simSchool account, and then how to access the MUSP multi-university modules. You'll be working both in and out of simSchool, so it's important to kind of get an understanding of when you are in simSchool actually doing the simulation and when you are in our manual going through the being able to get your instructions, but they are separate. Okay, the link to the new and improved simSchool manual is shown on the screen. It does,
just a minute.
Yeah.
This link I will embed in Canvas for you. Okay, I'll embed it so it'll be live in Canvas. Okay.
Good. Okay. Excellent. And when you select the link, you'll notice there is a password here, and I'll show you where that goes in a moment. The password is only for the material that involves the manual itself. And it takes you to the first page. This is just of the multi-university study. For you, your most important aspect is going to be the student resource, as you can see here. If you scroll down to the user manual, and you will input a password, which is MUSP 2017. And Dr. Collum, you can provide that also with the link. And once I hit enter, it takes me to the table of contents for the manual. And today what we'll do, or this evening what we'll do, is walk through the sections so you can get a feel for how the manual is organized and show you where some of the resources are. There are a great number of resources listed right here on the first page. The appendices are all listed and have links to them. So as you work through the semester, you should be able to access all the materials you need relatively easily. Section 1 covers some of the material that we've already talked about, that it's a very important study. Expectations, which I believe Dr. Collum is very clear. You do need to finish the modules and the surveys. simSchool has provided the licenses to us at no cost, and part of that is to be able to work on the research. Requirements. I do want to touch on a couple of things here because we run into them a great deal in our support. First, you're going to be working on the internet. The simSchool and the SurveyMonkey surveys that you're going to be doing are all web-based. So it's extremely important that you have a reliable internet connection. If you are working in simSchool and are in a module and you have an interruption of any kind, it can either throw you out of the simulation because all this is going on online, or you may not get your data. So it's very important to know that you have a good, reliable internet connection. Also, simSchool tends not to play really well with the internet browser, Internet Explorer. So we recommend Chrome, Firefox, or Safari. Any of these three tend to work very well. Videos. You're going to have a number of videos throughout the semester, and we highly recommend that you go through them in sequence. They will help you and provide a great deal of information in how to do some of the exercises. So section 1, and you'll have access to all this. Section 1 is the introduction. The MUSP overview, which is basically the purpose, which we discussed earlier. The data, which is extremely important. It's probably the most important aspect of the entire operation. And you're going to be providing data in 2 different ways. One, through pre- and post-surveys in SurveyMonkey. And it's extremely important that you take those in order and on time, because it's important to the results of the survey. Also, you're going to be working in simSchool doing a sequence of modules. And these modules, it is extremely important. Again, you're going to hear me say extremely important a lot, so it's kind of hard to know which is the most extremely important. But based on our experience, the reason I'm pointing these out, it's important to do the modules as they are assigned and work on them throughout the semester. Don't do as some have done and wait till the end to try to do all the modules at once. The goal is to have you have a good experience as you work your way through the semester, and you will build on that experience. With each module, you'll learn a little bit more, a little bit more. So it's important that you do finish the modules in a reasonable sequence such that you're not overloaded at the end. And the one thing we've dealt with teachers, I've worked with pre-service teachers in the past, and their first thought is that, well, the results of simSchool are going to be graded. No, 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 no. This is an experiential learning environment only, and the credit that you get will be determined by Dr. Collum. Really amounts to having you complete the modules on time and as expected. Also, we've included a picture of I'm not going to go through this in any detail because this is all here for you. I just want to give you an overview of what each one of these is so you know what to expect, what each section is.
Margaret, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Give me just 1 minute, okay?
All righty.
Okay. There'll be there's a TA that helps me here with all the assignments because you'll see it's a lot of them, and I have 60-something of you this semester. Amy, will you stand up? Amy, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Some of the people in the room know you, but Amy, I will tell you, Amy's gone through the module. She's gone through the class, okay?
My name's Amy. I was in this class, I think, last year. I've been grading it for now a couple semesters, 8-week classes and stuff. I'm a junior here, education major, so yeah.
She's one of you guys, okay? But so we'll talk about how to assign assignments. I wanted to interrupt and let Amy say a few words because she actually has to turn right around and go right back out the door to another meeting. So,
okay.
So thanks, Amy, and you and I will be talking later this week. Okay. Go ahead, Marta.
Okay, no problem at all. Yeah, so now we're in section 3, Why simSchool, and you'll recognize this this woman here at the bottom. I'm sure you've already heard from her. We've included a couple of videos that she put together for both explaining the importance of the multi-university study and the importance of using simSchool. And one of the key points of simSchool is that it's a unique simulation program. It has some very sophisticated artificial intelligence that represent each one of the simulated students. It delves into more than just their academic style. It deals with their psychological background. And as you work through the modules, you'll understand more about what this does. So section 4, now we're starting to get into the meat of it a bit. This is getting ready, and probably one of the most important, again, there's that word, aspects of this are your assignment schedules. And we have a list here of all the assignment schedules. I believe, Dr. Collum, your groups are these top 2, the 15-week and the 8-week simSchool only. So if you're in the 15-week simSchool only, you select that.
Okay, hold on a minute. You actually have a hard copy of that just to show you. We'll talk about that a little later. That is only ones of you that are 15 weeks or your DMA, the main campus Tuesday, Thursday class. The rest of you from all the regional learning centers, the EMA, your 8-week assignment schedule. Okay, thanks. Go ahead.
Good, that's good. I'm glad you're clearing that up because I'm not seeing who's there. That's very helpful. So the assignment schedules we have embedded in the website, and you can see that we have links to the different surveys and outside, like the surveys that you need to take in order to do the project itself. We've also embedded some of the videos that are in multiple places, but these are in sequence. And again, highly recommend that you take these in sequence and in order, and make sure you look at them maybe once or twice before you actually start working with your assignments. Now, to get back to the main menu, you can go to the browser back button up in the upper left-hand corner, and that'll take you back. So we had the assignment schedules, and we also want to go back one more. Reflection journals. I bring this up largely because I think reflections are one of the most important things a teacher can do, whether you're working in simSchool, obviously, or not, because once you've approached a classroom or a group of students in any way, and you approach them in a way that you think is efficient, and you get results that aren't what you expected, or maybe they are, it's good to sit back and say, what did I do? What happened, and what might I do to improve? So Dr. Collum has, I think, a pretty good sequence there for you to go ahead and maintain your reflections throughout. Now we start getting into the most important part. There's that word again. I've got to come up with a different word from that. Section 5. This is beginning the MUSP activities. This screen takes you to the 2 surveys that you must complete before you begin, and the links are here.
Stop, Margaret. 1 minute. All right, there was an assignment before you came tonight. Raise your hand if you have completed MUSP 1 and 2. Okay. Please complete that, say, in the next 24 to 36 hours. Okay. Because remember, the order that you complete it determines our data. This is what we call a pre-surveys. Before you use simSchool or anything, you'll take the same identical surveys when you finish the course. And believe it or not, there's differences usually in those 2 surveys. At least so far they've been. That's why we're still going. Okay, go ahead.
Good, excellent. Well, this is where you would find them, and I'm going to go back. We're also going to talk about registering in simSchool, and after I give you the overview, we can come back to this, and those of you who have your laptops can go ahead and get registered. But if you go to this, we have a video and some PDF instructions, but we'll come back to this and we can walk through it as we get ready to do that. Add the MUSP course to your simSchool account. This is, believe it or not, where many students have had issues in the past. So we have a video here that explains how to add Dr. Collum's course to your My Courses in simSchool. Again, this will make more sense to you once you're into simSchool and have a chance to kind of poke around and see what the menu items are.
Okay, hold on just a minute. Help me out. There's 2 courses in simSchool. You're going to be given a course code. One course code is for all the 8-week students, and there's a course code for the DMA. And inadvertently, somehow, my 8-week get into the 15-week, and the 15-week get in the 8-week. We can usually find you and give you credit, but it really is tough in the end to get your data pulled out and put where it needs to go. So please make sure you pay attention to which one's which, okay?
Excellent. Okay, then as part of your assignment, one of your first assignments will be to get to know simSchool a bit by actually creating yourself as a sim student, teaching yourself as a sim student, and then teaching yourself through running a simulation, and then assessing the data. And I'm not going to step through each one of these now, but what you have when you do get into this, you do have some videos, again, to help you understand how simSchool works, how you can set yourself, how you can determine your own psychological and emotional variables. Teach yourself, assess yourself, and then you get a better feel for how simSchool operates. It's a little different from what many people expect.
When is the Science Behind simSchool video?
You want to go ahead and see that now?
It's before this in the order of sequence, isn't it?
It's right here.
There.
You see my cursor?
Yeah. Okay. I just see personality profile, but that's the video. Okay.
Yeah, the Science Behind simSchool is actually labeled up at the top.
Do you have the 9 minutes or so to go ahead and let them watch that now?
I sure do. I can go ahead and run it now.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Hi, I am Anita Learn. My students went to lunch, so I have a few minutes to go over the science behind simSchool. In simSchool, there are 4 components to a teaching experience. We will identify ways teachers observe students in simSchool. We will examine how a teacher interacts with students, and how the tasks they assign and teacher talk impact student learning. We will identify the components of sim students' personalities. Lastly, we will explore how student outcomes are produced. Let's take a look at each of these components and explore how teacher and student interactions impact students in simSchool. Student behaviors are observable variables. Body postures and verbal responses give clues to a student's internal state. Looking at the body postures in this class tells me some students are not paying attention. If the class is not paying attention, then that means the teacher needs to make some adjustments. Because student learning is a teacher's responsibility. First, let's look at another observable variable. Verbal responses from students also reflect their internal states. We have seen how body postures and verbal responses give clues to the internal state of the students. Now, let's see what teachers can do to impact student learning. What teachers do in the classroom are independent variables. Some teacher decisions impact everyone in the class, and other decisions only impact a single student. The teacher can interact with students in 2 ways. First, they can develop tasks, and second, they can talk to students. How well a student performs on a task can depend on the type of task selected, student time on a task, and the order of tasks. Teacher talk, using questions, observations, or assertions about academic or behavioral issues, allows teachers to interact with students. Short tutorials on task selection and teacher talk will explain more on how to individualize instruction and adjust student learning. We have seen how teachers observe and interact with students. Next, let's explore how student personalities are created in simSchool and how those personalities impact learning.
Okay, so that gives you
Learning characteristics of students come from a student's personality. A student's personality is a hidden variable. There are 3 aspects of a student's personality. The physical dimensions of the personality are represented by the VAK model, or visual. Visual students prefer learning experiences with pictures and graphs. Auditory. These students prefer to learn through listening to information or music. And kinesthetic learning preferences. Kinesthetic learners like movement and hands-on learning. The second aspect of a sim student's personality is the 5-factor model of personality. It is also referred to as the OCEAN model because it is an acronym for each of the 5 factors. The O in OCEAN stands for the characteristic of openness. Students who exhibit openness are inventive and curious. Those on the other end of the spectrum of openness are consistent and cautious. Conscientious students are efficient and organized, whereas students who are less conscientious tend to be more easygoing and somewhat careless. The characteristic of extroversion demonstrates someone who is outgoing and energetic. If you are at the other end of the spectrum, you may be considered to be introverted or more solitary and reserved. With all of these personality traits, students can be at the low end of the spectrum, the high end of the spectrum, or somewhere in between. Agreeable people are friendly and compassionate. However, people who are not agreeable can be cold and unkind. The characteristic of neuroticism is reversed in simSchool. Typically, if you are high in neuroticism, you have sensitive and nervous tendencies. Emotional stability is the opposite end of the spectrum and demonstrates a secure and confident person. In describing sim students, we look at how emotionally stable they are, so the high end of the spectrum is emotional stability, and the low end is neuroticism. The 5 traits make up the simSchool students' personalities. Research has shown that personality is an important component in a student's willingness to perform. The third aspect of this sim student's personality is the cognitive dimensions of academic and language proficiency. This is the expected academic performance of a student. A teacher can view the academic and language proficiency of a student by reading the background reports. The background report can be found by clicking on the computer screen in your classroom. A class roster will appear with all of the students you are currently teaching. In this simulation, there is one student. A student's personality profile is composed of the 5-factor model of personality. The text describes students. For example, this student is willing to go along with new experiences, rather than referring to the actual personality trait of openness. Teacher reflections refer to observations of teachers that describe how they believe the student learns best. This information is helpful when individualizing instruction. Language proficiency describes how well the student can read, write, and speak the English language. This is very important information when working with ELL students. Finally, the academics are the student's previous grades from all subject areas. A helpful tip: simSchool assumes all students want to learn. So whatever a student's background report states, stay positive, because all students desire to learn. So let's summarize. Student personality is composed of 9 dimensions. 5 are openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. The 3 dimensions of the VAK model, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learning preferences, make 8. Language proficiency and academic performance are combined into the dimension of expected academic performance. So, there you have the 9 dimensions of student personality. Now that we have seen how sim student personalities are created, let's explore student outcomes that result from various types of student learners. Student outcomes are how the students respond to the other variables. The teacher's observations of the student's behavior that consists of body language and verbal responses helps the teachers decide what to do in the classroom, what tasks to select, and how to talk to the students. Students' personalities composed of the VAK model, 5-factor model, and academic performance are directly related to the way a student reacts to learning. That brings us to the student outcomes, or how well students learn. This information in simSchool is recorded in a feedback report that teachers can view after the simulation. This is an example of a feedback report. It records moment-by-moment activity during the classroom simulation. Notice the color-coded lines on the graph. Each color represents a personality trait. The red line represents academic outcomes. This student did not excel academically in the tasks to review last week's lesson, take an oral quiz, and take notes in a lecture. If you look at the blue line, you can see that the student's persistence throughout the task improved. Persistence aligns with the personality trait of conscientiousness. The intellect, or openness, improved as well at the end of the oral quiz and during the note-taking. From the feedback report, teachers can decide how to adjust the lesson to improve academic performance. Could the student learn more if the lesson was longer, shorter, more hands-on, more student-centered? These are questions you may consider before making adjustments to a simulation to improve academic performance. This is a very short introduction to a feedback report. To learn more, watch the tutorial on feedback reports. Oh, it looks as if my students are back from lunch. So I need to get back to my classroom. This tutorial reviewed the science behind simSchool. The variables of simSchool were discussed. In a nutshell, teachers observe student behaviors, create tasks, and talk to students. Through this interaction, teachers can learn more about the emotional, physical, and cognitive dimensions of students. If you know about a student's personality, learning preferences, and academic history, you can better plan activities, projects, and lessons to engage students in learning. This produces better student outcomes. After all, to be an effective teacher means our students are learning.
Okay, so that gives you, yeah, that's a nice rendition of how the science behind simSchool. You'll get very familiar with that as you go through. Dr. Collin, was there anything else you wanted to?
Yes. Yeah, give me just a few here. I'm going to have to sneeze. Excuse me. Okay. How many of you are familiar with personality tests? Okay. One term out there is a D for driver, whatever. I used to give this learning style test when I was teaching in secondary chemistry, and I'd give it to my students, and they'd figure out what they were, and I said, do y'all have any idea why it's important to know my personality, or why we do this? They say, not really. I say, so let's say that you are a very driving person and you want the last word. You know, you're that dominant person. And what's your name in the back? Janae. Janae is a very dominant person. Y'all have the same personality. And y'all get in an argument. Just started out, you know, just as a little argument. Well, the fact that you have to have the last word and the fact that Janae has to have the last word, the argument just keeps escalating and keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Well, I'm that type of person too. So I tell the students, I said, one of us is going to have the last word. It's probably going to be me, but if you can't yield to that, then there's probably going to be an issue. And then my wife is the type that hardly wants to talk at all. Okay, so the personalities really do. simSchool, Dr. David Gibson founded simSchool. Now, I've met Dr. Gibson in person. Dr. Gibson actually was at the site conference where I presented data in May down in Austin, Texas. And he had not seen the 3 university study, Hannibal, Lincoln, and Missouri Baptist. And I presented data on that study and compared it to the original study. And guys and gals, it lined up as close as experimentally you could hope. And the researchers from Texas that started simSchool research were there, and he was amazed. So Dr. Gibson actually wrote an endorsement letter that we could use with other universities. We have our first Canadian university joining us this year, so we're excited. But what I wanted to say, the simSchool can simulate up to 1.6 million students. Students with autism, students with exceptionalities, gifted learners, students that have problem with language. So we can simulate classroom management. That's what we've done for you. Okay, go ahead, Martha.
Excellent. Okay, very good. So let's see. Let's go back to getting to know simSchool. We talked about you'll be developing yourself as a student. You create yourself, and then look at how well you did in teaching yourself. That's to get you used to the way simSchool operates, because it's a little different, takes a little bit of getting used to, and we like for you to have a chance to work within the simulations before you begin the MUSP modules.
In your first discussion post will be to reflect on teaching yourself in simSchool. And I suspect some of you are going to put something like this. I didn't realize I was such a difficult student. Okay.
Excellent. Yeah, that's we've had that result quite a bit ourselves. I'm going to start here. We're going to start on section 7 in a moment, but we did put some caution, a caution note at this stage. Once you start into the MUSP modules and you have associated the MUSP modules with your courses, and again, this will make a lot more sense once you work through it. You want to make sure that when you are doing your assignments that you get to them through the My Courses tab. If you don't do that and you access them through the simSchool library tab, it's likely, well, you will not get credit for the work that you do because it's not recorded. It's not recorded in the MUSP study, I should say. So just keep that in mind. Once you get to into simSchool, you want to make sure you go to the My Courses to get all your MUSP modules. So section 7, this is where learning a little bit about the technology, to say, I guess more, should be more the terminology. The MUSP modules comprise a course. A course in simSchool is made up of a series of modules. And each of the modules comprise a simulation with various instructions and materials wrapped around it. We'll be working with the MUSP course. Getting ready to launch. One thing, once you open a module, we recommend that you read all the instructions on the opening page. Make sure you have all the materials that you need and the understanding you need before you begin the simulation. And as you work with simSchool, you'll see that you interact with the students, as the video indicated, through providing a task or making a comment. And it's important to understand the student profiles involved. And so as you work through the modules, you will have access on the right-hand side. All the materials should be readily available. You'll have access to the learning styles. You remember in the video they showed understanding the student, and then what are the different tasks that you would be asked to give them. And as we said, we've got it in multiple places, so you should have no problems finding the information you need. And I believe, Dr. Cullum, you also have that in the appendix. I know there were some issues with the size of the appendix files, but as you can see, everything should be here on the website.
Yeah, just one thing, you'll want to learn to go there. The profiles tell you what their academic scores are. It tells you some information about the student, personality profile, teacher reflections, and then the corresponding test PDF that's linked to the modules is tells you what tasks are in there. Okay? And there's a module called Teacher Talk that explains what they mean by tasks, what we're looking. You're going to find some tasks in there that you would never say or do in the classroom. We know that. But the Teacher Talk explains why we do that. It's determined to see what their student reactions are and how you would deal with it. Okay. So that's there. But those are important to read, print out if you can beforehand, have them with you. The more you prepare yourself. Now, I'm challenging you, this group of students, this group that we have this semester, to get more involved with simSchool than any group we have. I've actually been relieved of a few of my courses, so I'm going to get to interact with you a little more than I've been able to interact with students in the past. We've created this to help you get more out of it. The report at the end that the video showed, there's some reports that you get, PDF reports. You need to look at them. One of the things in there is teacher effectiveness. It's what we actually, the data that we research. But it's the after you run the module, they'll provide you with a graph and it'll say teacher effectiveness 40%. What that means is that for you assigning tasks and understanding your students, you were 40% effective. Now, the way the system works, there's 9 simulated classrooms. You teach each classroom 3 times. So it's sort of like you see the same students 3 times. And you hope your teacher effectiveness improves each time. Probably won't, but that's your goal. So you're talked about this reflection journal. That's a good place to talk about it. Your reflection journal is nothing but a Word document that you're going to keep a couple of paragraph reflection of after each one. Make sure you're paying attention. Because I don't want to answer an email 6 weeks from now, what do you mean by reflection journal? Okay, so your reflection, and there's some questions in there that you can think about. What would you do different next? You know, this type of thing. So look at your data, talk to yourself, reflect on it. Okay, so you have 3 times. The first modules, I think, have either 5 or 6 students in them, and it's a specific diversity type that we're simulating. When you get to anywhere high school, we've thrown 18 students into the classroom, all diversity. It is literally just like a real classroom. Now, some of the things you'll see the students do, you'll see them, you know, chew gum. You'll see them lay their head down. You'll see them talk to the neighbor. And I had someone in this thing said, that doesn't happen in the real world. Well, I'm going to tell you exactly where you're at in your education world. Quote from Dr. Vicki Johnson, Florida Gulf Coast University. We asked, why do we get some negative feedback every now and then? She said, David, it's because, no, actually it came from Rhonda Christian University in North Texas. She said, David, the sophomores that are just beginning education think they know everything about teaching, and they know absolutely nothing. So that's sort of where some of you are in the room. You want to teach so much, you think you know everything there is to know about teaching, and really you know very well. That's not like meaning to be mean or disparaging. I mean, I was like that too. I spent 23 years in the pharmaceutical world, went through an alternative certification, started teaching at King Tri Alternative School in St. Louis, inner city St. Louis. White rural man going to the inner city of St. Louis to teach. It was an eye-opening experience. Really was. If I'd have had this, I could have practiced. Go ahead, Marta.
Okay, that's good. That's very good information. Okay, once you work your way through the MUSP modules, as Dr. Collum mentioned, you're going to do a capstone project, which requires it requires that you have gone through the previous modules and had a chance to work through them, reflect, make changes, understand what you're doing, because you're going to be using the skills that you acquired during those initial modules in the capstone.
Give me 1 second here, because you need to understand something. If you talk to anyone that's had this before, they'll say, oh, we really didn't do that when we really sort of skipped over 33. 33 is a capstone project. It's been redone. This is really one of the most important parts. And if you've cheated going through the modules or tried to do something and not participate, if somebody tells you just sign into a module, leave it, let it run a few minutes, come back, click something, you'll get through it. We've now built in a system that we catch that, and I will give you a no credit with no chance of getting a credit as long as I'm teaching this class. So do not do that. Do not try to cheat and get out of this class. Okay. 3 things I don't like: talking while I'm talking, because if you talk while I'm talking, I'm losing my hearing and I can't hear, and I keep talking louder and louder. Don't use your phones, text when I'm lecturing, talking to you. And 3, don't cheat. 3 things I absolutely can't stand. And I'm looking around now, and I see a few people that are looking at their phones, looking out the window. And when you text me 7 weeks from now or 14 weeks from now, won't help. It's sort of hard for me to help when you didn't respect me. Okay? Go ahead, Margaret.
Yeah, that's very, yeah, that's probably the most important aspect of all the importance we've used, is that if you don't do the work as you work through the semester, it's not the kind of thing that you can cram at the end and hope to get anything out of it, or provide data, or even have anything that's worthwhile at the end. So, good point. Don't want to wait till the end. So, probably what everyone wants to know too, technical support. Because, as I mentioned, we at Tech Matters are helping support, as are the simSchool people. And I just want to mention, I'm not going to spend a lot of time now because this is all here for you, but here are some of the common support issues that we run into. Believe it or not, even after we've said don't use Internet Explorer, we've had those that have had problems using Internet Explorer. So that's the first thing you ought to check. If you're having issues, make sure you're using one of the recommended browsers. Second most important thing is the internet connection. It really needs to be free of data interruptions, and in some cases, in some of the classrooms that we had in the university where we were working with simSchool, we had them actually plug into the network so that they weren't using the wireless. But that's up to you. Wireless is getting more robust, but internet connection is critical.
One of the worst places to do simSchool is where?
Here.
Here. Okay. Absolute worst.
That's why it's very good that simSchool is web-based and that you can access it anywhere you have a computer and a good internet connection. There are problems launching simulation. I'm not going to go through all this. Some of this has been resolved, but if you have any issues with this, please take a look. And if you have any more questions, let us know. If you have any problems, what we recommend first, if you are in simSchool itself and having problems with the application, that you contact simSchool support. And you do that when you are logged into simSchool, scrolling to the bottom, click simSchool report, and you'll have an opportunity to input your problem. The more specific you can be in what your issue is, not just it's not working, that involves a lot of back and forth with us, with simSchool, to say, well, why isn't it working? We need some more specifics. So in many cases where we've had the best luck, if you can provide a screenshot, and I've even had people, and I've done this myself, you take out your cell phone and take a picture of the screen and send it to us or to simSchool, and it can help us help you much more efficiently. If you try that and you haven't received any feedback or any information from simSchool within about a 24-hour period, come back into this website and you can fill out this trouble notification form. And then Robin and I and I believe it's CC'd Dr. Collum as well. We'll make sure that occurs so that he's aware also if you are having issues. And I reiterate, be as specific as you possibly can because it will save lots of time in trying to help you. Okay, let's see. I think that's just about it. We have some other resources for you. There's some supplemental videos. Recommended video. This one here is put together by simSchool. It's by the people at simSchool and provides some more information about how simSchool operates.
Is that Stacy's 1-hour video?
It is.
Okay, this is the only video that the first people that took simSchool had. This is a good video for teaching you how to do the modules. It was specifically designed to teach you how to use the modules, how to understand the task and the behavior, and reading the thermometers on top of the little student's head. It's one of the ones that you're going to want to watch. I think it's in the assignment list in an order, but some of it may be slightly outdated now. This was done about 4 years ago, but it's probably one of the more detailed with everything under one thing. And it may say in that video that you're to send me your PDF every time you do a module. About one student every semester does that, and that means only one student watched the video every semester. But you do not send me PDFs of your modules. So we can access them now in simSchool. We couldn't the first time around. Okay, thanks.
Excellent. Okay, I guess that's all I had. And excellent, David. I'm glad you're able to fill in the most important parts about the, I think I need to put a note down here to say how many times I've used the word important. But we are excited about the program, and Robin and I really do want you to have a positive experience, and we're hoping that the website and the manual online will help with that. If you have any issues or questions, you know how to contact us and Dr. Collum. I guess now, would you like to have them try to register?
Yes, I want you to lead the ones with their laptops. Go through that, take them through that, and let's see if we can get them registered. Now, here's the deal. Some of you are going to click register, and it's going to tell you didn't get something right. And you're going to go back and try to fix that, and it's not going to work. And there's nothing you can do for the rest of the night because you have to hit the support line, and Stacy will have to fix it for you on that line. I don't know why that happens. Margaret, do they still have the pictures that they have to click on at the end?
Yes.
Okay. This is international, so instead of putting in numbers like to verify, you know how it says, type in the numbers that you see here, 1, 2, 3. They actually ask a question. Click on all the pictures that deal with cameras, and there's usually more than one of them. So if you don't click them all, it'll probably mess you up. Okay. But and the other thing that was mentioned that I'm not sure you understood, simSchool costs $50 a student. Okay, that's what they charge schools for their students to use simSchool. That's $50 a semester. They've allowed us now to run through probably close to 2,000 students since 14, and we haven't paid a dime for you to be able to use this tool. That in its own right is an important thing. Okay, so so just this semester I have 80. So what's 80 times 50? 4,000. So just this semester it would be $4,000. But so when you register, when it talks about your university, there's a drop-down menu that Margaret explained. You must do your university from the drop-down menu, or it'll try to charge you that $50. Okay. Go ahead. Let's see if we can get everybody signed up that's got their laptops.
Okay.
If you don't have your laptops, that's okay.
Okay.
Just take notes on the process, and there's videos
Right.
for you to watch to walk you through it. So.
Right. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play this video while I'm checking on something. This will give you an idea of how it works. And pay attention to this, and then we'll step through it. Meanwhile, those of you who want to, or that have your laptops, go ahead and go to simschool.org and just wait until the video is complete, and then I'll walk you through part of that.
Hi, my name is Anita Learn. Welcome to simSchool. During this video, I will show you how to register for simSchool. Make sure you are at this website at simschool.org and click register. Look at the account type and choose the third one down, Student Enhanced Access. Although it shows that the cost is $50, you will not be charged any fees. Now, just click register. Complete the form by filling in the requested information.
Stop. Make sure you use your university email when you register.
And answer the questions using the check boxes. Look for and select your university from the drop-down menu. Finally, complete the verification by selecting the images of the item requested. In this case, click all the video cameras. Then click register. You are almost done. Please complete the short survey of teaching skills. Click all the boxes and then click submit. Your account is registered. The last step is to confirm your registration with your email.
Stop. Check your university email for simSchool confirmation.
Go to your email account and you will have received an email from simSchool. Click on the link in the email. Your registration is now complete. You are ready to log into simSchool.
Okay, so we go to simschool.org. Let me do that as well so that you have, I'm following along with you. So you should be at this screen, and one of the things I do want to point out, some of the videos, and we are in the process of redoing them. We're also updating some of the pictures as well. They're dated, and simSchool has done some more work on the look and feel. So if it doesn't look exactly the same as the videos or the pictures, don't worry about it. Most of it still has the same. It still has the same options. So what you want to do is click register your simSchool account, and you'll see pretty much what the video showed you. You want to fill out your just fill this all out. And then what Dr. Collum was talking about was, in this, please select your institution from the drop-down menu. Be sure to select Missouri Baptist. And you see how many how many universities have been involved. So make sure that you select Missouri Baptist at that stage. Institution type, you are in higher education. How did you hear about simSchool? You may just say other, it's a class, whichever you prefer. So go ahead and do that, and let's see if you can step through. I do believe Stacy Cruz is available should we have any problems that we cannot resolve. So please go ahead if you have any questions. We're here to help.
Anybody get through successfully? Anybody got through and submitted and waiting on an email to come back? Has anybody got through and submitted?
Isn't that a survey of teaching skills?
Take the survey of teaching skills, yeah.
Yes.
What's this simSchool portal? What is it?
Welcome to the students. So apparently you did not click. Let's go back to just close everything out and go back to simSchool. Okay, see you clicked here. Yeah, try it again, and it may not let you in. You may have to actually contact simSchool to fix it. But go through it again and see if it'll work.
Yeah, sometimes we've seen it take a little time before you get the email. I don't quite know why, but some come back pretty quickly, and once in a while it takes a few more moments.
What page of the manual is registration?
Getting started part, section 5, I believe.
And then the surveys are in there as soon as you get all set up.
You've done the same thing, I think, that did log out the race. You didn't get it right. That should be right, because you're gonna add the section. But we haven't gotten that for you. But you did you take a survey? Yeah. Log out, go back in again. Well, that's not the start. Log completely out. simSchool and sign. Just click out. And then go to simSchool. We'll go here and proceed and see if we move forward right, and then we'll know if not. We'll No, you wouldn't.
So just entering my
Yeah,
stuff
just
now.
enter your stuff there on somebody else. Did it create somebody, did it give you a new MBU email? I need this one, gave her a UID for somehow.
I'm in here.
Okay,
Do you want us to visit the profile page? Not yet, just get in.
just get in to where it says, add section. Get your email back, log in again. And you're gonna come to a point where it's gonna say add section. If anybody there,
Once you tell
You're about to do the ads. Or probably my courses.
when you log into your course, after you
Thank you.
signed up successfully, you're gonna see 6 squares. My profile, my Sims, my courses, library, Sim Creator 4. You're gonna learn how to use my Sims and Sim Creator. Sim Creator is where you're gonna create your student stuff. My courses is where you wanna go. Go to courses. Now, when you get the courses, you see that screen we saw. See this screen right here? It says add section for section code. Margaret, you're gonna have to find us the section codes.
Okay, let me go grab yours. So I'm going to have to log in. Oh, I sent them to you, didn't I? So let me find them. Hang on just a moment.
If I could get to simSchool, I can.
I'm
You're in
on
simSchool, you
my way
can
there. I
find
should
them.
have it shortly up here so for y'all to see.
Yeah, this is good because I want to show them the 2 courses that.
Good. Okay.
That
That works perfectly.
Cut out the light bulb, somebody please.
So, yeah, here they are here. Whoops.
Okay, the only thing wrong is we can't read them. But if you look right here,
Okay.
EDCL, Florida Fall, Maine. Where we go? Wait a minute.
Is that bigger? Does that help?
Maine, that's Tuesday and Thursday. Your course code is Y2Y.
Well, it's Y, Z is in zebra. Can you see this better? I can read it to you.
Read it to us. This is only for Maine campus.
Main campus. Y, Z is in zebra. Y, Q, X, M, G, H, P, Y.
Okay, get them that and then hit submit and see if your course comes up. Okay, now for everybody else in the room, all 8 week, it's this one right here, 8 week. Go ahead. Go ahead, Marka.
Yeah, it's P as in Papa, G, I, B, Z as in zebra, E, K, E, 8, N.
Yeah, what 8N?
E8N. E as in Edward. And I'll put these in Canvas tomorrow.
And that's K-A-E-A-N.
Repeat that one again, Marga.
I'm sorry.
Okay, it's P as in Papa, G, I, B, Z as in zebra, E, K, E, 8N.
Yes,
The first code.
first code didn't work.
That one more.
Okay, but if you're in the main, you don't. Marga, I need you to repeat. Are you back before you enter the code yet? Repeat the main code, the 15-week code.
Okay, it's Y, Z as in zebra, Y, Q, X, M, G, H, P, Y.
P.
P as in Papa.
Okay, you know where you have those like 6 options? I only have 4.
For what?
Like, where you have those 6 options, I have 4 instead of 6. So I can get to that spot.
It's support. Your emails, type in name, what class you're in, just say MissouriBaptistUniversity.com. And I have 4 boxes when I log in instead of 6. I can't get to one course box.
Wait, so my name,
Yeah, name, university, what course you're supposed to be in, and that's either EDCL 200 or EDCL 200 regional or main. And we've got, Margo, we got one student that there's only 4 boxes when she registered for simSchool
Only
instead of 6.
4
So
boxes.
she doesn't have my courses.
Excuse me, when you say that, repeat that one more time.
Yeah, one student only has those 4 boxes, 4 rectangles, and she doesn't have one that says my courses.
That means she's not registered as, she hasn't registered. That's registered for a temporary account.
Okay.
So let's go back. At least that's what we've seen in the past. Let's go back to simSchool. I'm in simSchool. Let me go back. Get back to where I can see. And I'm going to log out. And when you register for a simSchool account, it was probably in selecting which account, which I don't have here because I'm not actually setting up an account. But when you set up account, remember when you selected I think it was the 3rd one down that said $50, but it's not really. You won't be charged the $50, but that was the account she would want to sign up for. If there's a problem, email me and we can get in touch with Stacy and have her fix that.
Okay.
But you're right. Yeah, she should see my courses.
Laptop and you were successful. Okay, that's almost a bunch of. Raise your hand if you have your laptop and you weren't successful. Raise your hand. Okay. Well, she shouldn't feel alone. When I did this with my doctor's degree, I never could get registered. I had to have Stacy fix mine. And the ones of you that don't have your laptop with you, there's notes and there'll be a place when I upload the resource tab, they'll help you out. Anything else, Marga, you need?
I don't believe so. I think the big thing now is to dig in and start working with the program, working with the manual. If you have any questions or issues, this is the first time, you're the first group that's looked at or actually had the manual available to you. So we hope we've got everything squared away, but if not, please let us know and we're happy to fix it for you. And
Okay, I'm going to sign off.
Okay, that sounds great. I'll look forward to hearing from you later.
I'll see you tomorrow night at 5, or hear from you tomorrow night at 5 o'clock.
Sounds good. I'll be here. I'll do it the same way we did this time. Excellent. Thank you.
You know, if you click yes,